So Mr. Mars
Man.
has This Week in Auto History, and we're ready when you are, Mike.
All righty. This week we found a few stories that we thought were rather interesting. And of course, the Indianapolis 500 was just finished up. Excuse me. And I found another little story about it. But actually, the very first Indianapolis 500 was on May the 30th in 1911. Now, that's the start of the most famous race in American history. Now, the winning car was a Marmon Wasp. This was a revolutionary single seat car, had one of the earliest rear view mirrors, and that's significant because that's another thing that came out of the racing world and became into production cars, as well as some of the other features for the engineering advancements on this car that kind of influenced cars made for the public sector for the next several centuries. So also this week was the introduction of the diesel passenger car. Now, at the Berlin Motor Show, Mercedes-Benz introduced the 260D, which is generally recognized as the first series production diesel passenger car. There were diesel engines, obviously, out in trucks and tractors and railroad gear, but this was the first one that was set up for everyday automobiles and improved the efficiency and the reliability of the diesel motor in the category. Now, it's long been held over in Europe. They've always used diesels a lot more than what we would here, but this is where it started and where it brought it into common usage. Now, in 1934, this is really interesting. I did not know this existed, but it was the birth of the Chrysler Airflow era.
Wow.
Now, they started production of this automotive design thinking that Chrysler engineers were going to use the wind tunnel testing and the airflow, which was actually a model of a car that was produced from 1934 to 1937, and it was a unibody vehicle that I did not even know existed back then.
I like it.
So, sir?
I said I like it.
Yeah. It's got a lot of features on it, including it sits down low. It's got a waterfall type grill to it. The windshield was technology advanced because instead of it being one piece of glass that was flat, it's two pieces that come up to that V that you can see sectioned off right there. It sits a little lower. It's got the wheel well coverings that kind of come over the tires. There's a lot of things that were done because of the wind tunnel testing that they developed on this car. And it's a shame they only produced it for 3 years, but they also produced one over in the DeSoto line as well as the Chrysler line. But it just never was publicly accepted. I mean, they just couldn't sell many of them. I think it was only like about 7,000 was actually, they ended up selling it across 3 years, and they pulled it from production. But it was another one of those things.
Ahead of its time.
Yes. In 1986, Henry Ford's quadricycle hits the road. Now, this was the
Wait a
first
minute. You just said 1986?
1886.
Excuse me, 1896.
Yeah, there you go. 1896. Okay.
Yeah, let me turn my glasses around.
Okay.
So this was in Detroit, and this was a four-wheel vehicle powered by a small gasoline engine. Now, this is Ford's earliest practical automobile, and this is what he started off building the whole Ford Motor Company from. It's absolutely very primitive, but if you think about it, some of the things that as kids that we tried to build little go-karts, our own little motorized powers, it was basically that, four wheels and a motor with some sort of steering. Then 1928, Chrysler purchases the Dodge Brothers. Now, the interesting thing about this is the Dodge Brothers were originally parts suppliers to all of the manufacturers at the time,
right.
including
Yep.
Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1914, they decided to start building their own automobiles. And so through that production, and then it came up in 1928 after both brothers had died one of them was under the Spanish flu, and the other one, they're not really sure, but they think it was related to that. So the family then ended up selling it, and Chrysler ended up buying it through a couple of other transactions. And what it did, it gave Chrysler, expanded their production ability to bring things in and make Chrysler, that started Chrysler into becoming one of the big three of Detroit. And that's the things that I found that were interesting. Some of them I didn't even know existed in automobile history.
I saw the Marmon Wasp. It's in the Indianapolis Museum at the Indianapolis Speedway. And I got to see, and I think you did too, Mike, that Chrysler Airflow. That was in the Chrysler Museum there in Auburn Hills when we went to visit.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and those cars are around, but you have to seek them out. You just, they don't show up at a cruise in or
Yeah,
something
car-
anywhere.
No, yeah, they're very special cars, and they treat them that way, fortunately.
All right, time out.